What if I told you that you could actually trick yourself into getting anything that you've ever wanted? And what if you could do this over the span of 2 minutes? Every year around the same time, we all make resolutions to lose weight, to build muscle, or to make lots of money, among other things. But how many of us actually keep these goals? The answer, unfortunately, is not many. Many of the things that we want in life, whether superficial or intrinsic, are right in front of us, but they're protected from us with some kind of shield. But with just 2 minutes, pretty much every person on the planet can trick their mind into getting exactly what they want. Every morning, we get up to take a shower. This is something that we do without even thinking about it. In fact, for most people, our morning shower has become such a strong habit that we almost wouldn't even question its importance or think about not doing it. Now think about the last time that you got really excited about starting a new program to build muscle or a diet plan to lose weight. Now, if you're like most people, you were so excited that you started out with a massive goal, such as going to the gym for 2 hours per day. Or if it was a diet, you most likely decided that you were going to consume only 1,000 calories per day or some other really small amount so that you could lose weight quickly. And the first few days, you went to the gym for the full 2 hours because you still had all of that motivation and that excitement to achieve your goal. But after the first few days, the motivational high wore off and you were left with the reality of working out for 2 hours every single day like clockwork. And then after about a week, you decided to let yourself slide a little bit and you took the day off. And one day off quickly turned into 2 and then 3. And it didn't take long before you reverted back to your old lifestyle and you completely forgot about building muscle and getting stronger. This is what happens to most people when they set huge goals like this. But at its core, human behavior is deceptively simple, and with the right knowledge, you can easily trick yourself into doing exactly what you need to do to get pretty much anything you want. And the secret to all of this lies within the basal ganglia, which is a very important part of our brain. In one study, rats were placed inside of a tea maze, and they quickly learned that there was a chocolate reward located on one end of the maze. And when the rats were first placed into the maze, their neurons were firing constantly as they took in massive amounts of information about their new environment. And using certain audible sounds as cues, the rats quickly learned where to find the chocolate reward within the maze. And over time, the rats had created a neuronal pattern or a habit within their brains that allowed them to quickly and efficiently find the reward at the end of the maze pretty much every time. But then researchers decided to remove the reward from the maze, and the rats eventually gave up on trying to find the chocolate. But when researchers placed the reward back into the maze and the rats found it for the first time, after the long period of time where they had given up, something really curious happened. And what happened was that the neuronal pattern that the rats had formed when they first found the chocolate had reactivated, and they were able to once again quickly and efficiently find the reward. What this tells us is that once we form a habit, it never really gets completely destroyed within our brain, even if we stop doing the behavior. This is why we find it so hard to quit bad habits that we all enjoy so much, like eating cake or binge watching TV shows. And what this tells us is that habits control nearly every aspect of our life, and bad habits can quickly be reactivated when we least expect it. But it also shows us the other edge of the sword, or the incredible power that we can harness if we are able to set good habits. But this is precisely where most people fail. And if you can get just this one part right, you can basically trick yourself into getting anything that you want in life. Remember earlier when we talked about the people who get excited and set a huge goal of going to the gym for 2 hours every single day. Now, if they could maintain this new habit, they would build a ton of muscle and their life would most likely change in many positive ways. But the problem is that once the excitement wears off, this goal will become unsustainable. And then the person will revert back to their older, much stronger habits of sitting around and eating cake or binge watching Netflix. Now, studies have proven that it's not the reward that matters the most when it comes to habits and why we do them. Instead, it is more about repetition, or how often we actually do the habit. An old quote says that repetition is the father of learning, but repetition actually has far more power over not just learning, but everything that we do. So the reason why most people fail when they set a new goal or try to build a new habit that has the potential to get them something that they really want, or a reward, is because they start out with too much too soon. The 2-minute rule is a simple way to trick yourself into doing exactly what you need to do to get a new habit formed. All over the world, people set new habits all the time, but they fail to make them stick simply because they don't understand how it works. Now, the 2-minute rule is a proven trick, and it states that any new habit that you make should not take more than 2 minutes to do. So for example, if you wanted to start reading an hour every day, using the 2-minute rule, you would simply start with reading a single page of a book, which would take about 2 minutes. Now the power behind this is simple. When you think about running 5 miles a day, you will most likely talk yourself out of it because it seems like a massive challenge. Now the same is true for going to the gym. Thinking about spending a full 2 hours at the gym makes it really easy for that little voice in your head to talk yourself out of it. But if you just agree to the first 2 minutes of the task, all of a sudden it doesn't seem so challenging anymore. The goal is to just follow the 2-minute rule and then gradually work your way up. So if your goal is to build muscle by going to the gym, the 2-minute rule would simply involve getting yourself dressed into the gear that you're planning to take to the gym. Or in other words, getting yourself ready to go to the gym. If you want to read for an hour a day, start with 2 minutes and then do whatever you feel comfortable with after that point. Now the 2-minute rule is incredibly powerful because it allows you to trick yourself into showing up, which is incredibly important for establishing a new habit. By simply agreeing to nothing more than the first 2 minutes, it makes it so much easier to do the habit every single day. And over time, the power of repetition will plant the new habit firmly into your brain and create the powerful neuronal pattern that is basically impossible to erase. By committing to a simple 2-minute warm-up that you would do before a workout, you are creating a small habit that leads to a bigger, more productive habit, such as working out for an hour or 2 hours every day. But it doesn't have to be 2 minutes. For some people with more drive and natural ambition, 2 minutes is just too easy. So maybe for you, 5 minutes or 10 minutes is the better option. But the whole purpose of this trick is repetition, or tricking yourself into showing up and doing the habit every single day so that eventually it becomes something that you just do, which will help to catapult you towards your goals in life. Now, if you look at the 2-minute rule in the context of social skills, this could be something simple like talking to one stranger every day for 2 minutes. Then over time, this tiny little habit that seems almost meaningless becomes like a gateway that leads you into talking to 5 or 10 new people per day. And before you know it, your social skills have dramatically improved and your life begins to change for the better because you now have new powerful skills that all started with a simple little trick called the 2-minute rule. Now, I know there are lots of curious things going on in the world right now, so I hope you guys are staying safe out there and continuing to improve your lives a little bit at a time. And with that said, until next time, thank you so much for watching.